afternoon, everybody. My name is Captain Javon Johnson, 11th Precinct. I'd like to thank everyone for coming here, including our people watching live on Facebook. I also wanted to say thank you to the community for their assistance in this investigation, and to our detectives and their hard work day and night, the men and women of the Detroit Police Department. Thanks to their tireless work, a dangerous suspect is off of the streets. This offender is accused of preying on several women by using dating apps like Tinder. He's then accused of meeting up with them and threatening them with a weapon, robbing them, and sexually assaulting them. He was brought into custody after investigators discovered a pattern and using all of our resources and investigative tools at our disposal, including our green light partners. Working together with officers across several units, we were able to bring this predator into custody. As Chief White always says, we will relentlessly pursue those who prey on our community. We will also use every resource available to make our neighborhoods safe. I'd like to at this time bring up Lieutenant Fulgenzi, head of the 11th Precinct Detective Unit, to explain the specifics of the case.
I'm going to go over a timeline of the events that occurred for the armed robbery. On February 7th, 2022, we had an armed robbery that occurred at 5045 East Outer Drive, the Anthos Gardens apartment. The apartment complex is located in the area of East Outer Drive and 7 Mile. At that location, a female victim arrived to meet a male she met off Tinder. The male had her meet in the back corner of the apartment complex, and at which time he entered her vehicle, produced a firearm, and announced robbery. The female fled from the area and called 911, where members of the 11th Precinct quickly responded and arrived and took a police report. That matter was then forwarded to our Detective Bureau and assigned to Detective Mason, who launched the investigation. Utilizing our green light partners and the technology, our Detective Bureau looked at an extensive amount of green light video from the apartment complex and also surrounding area to identify the perpetrator in this matter. Utilizing technology, we also were able to look at crime mapping to determine a second armed robbery that occurred at the same apartment complex in the month of January. Reviewing that case, we determined that the same description of the perpetrator was listed. Also, the victim met the individual off another dating site. The female met the male, was also robbed at gunpoint and sexually assaulted. Through investigation, the perpetrator was identified as Marcus Edwards. He's a 27-year-old resident of the city of Detroit. And on February 16th, the 11th Precinct conducted an arrest and search operation. Mr. Edwards was located and arrested. A search warrant was executed and a firearm was recovered. Through the hard work of the men and women of the police department, they used technology and also located 2 more additional cases. Those cases are also in the same area of 7 Mile and East Outer Drive, where the individual is targeting females on a dating site. In addition, attacked a female in a parking lot of a gas station. Those matters are under review and have been forwarded to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. Mr. Edwards has been charged formally on the 2 cases from February 7th and also January 8th. Again, I just want to thank the hard work from the members of the 11th Precinct, Detective Mason, our partners at the SVU unit, and also the 9th Precinct. It was great enforcement, great investigative work by all members. In addition, I just want to thank the business community who are partners of Greenlight, who helped this investigation, and most importantly, thank the victims that came forward and had the confidence of us to solve these crimes and refused to let to be victims in these cases. Thank you.
Any questions?
What did he say to these women to sort of make them feel comfortable enough to come to his house or those apartments?
So all 4 of these robberies occurred on the street. Mr. Edwards entered their vehicle. The conversation was very short. Almost immediately a weapon was produced and robbery was announced.
But prior to that, the conversations on Tinder or Plenty of Fish, I mean, what was he saying to sort of put them at ease that, hey, he's a nice guy?
So majority of these cases, the females met him on Tinder or other social media sites, and he lured them in with confidence to take them out on a date and take advantage of them.
The mindset of these women, they have to feel, totally just wronged and violated. I mean, was that relayed to you, kind of how they were feeling about this, all of this?
Absolutely. Yeah, they are truly victims in this matter. They went to these locations to meet someone. This day and age, it's often that people meet on dating sites. That's the way dating is going these days. And, this is someone that took advantage of that system and preyed on these victims.
What do you learn here? What can you explain from this that maybe people can take from it?
I think it's important we look at the tips of online dating and meeting people. Know your surroundings. Make sure someone knows where you're at when you're going to meet someone. Try to meet in a public place where there's other people around. If something doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, get out of there. Just know your surroundings.
Can you talk a little more specifically about the technology that was used? Because it sounds like that really was what led you guys in the right direction.
Yeah, so our investigators, we leverage our technology. It was a great tool. Greenlight, there's several different Greenlight businesses in that area. The detective did a great job, not just looking at that complex, but looking at area businesses to put this case together. There's also our business community that assists us with some transactions that were done without going into huge detail, without giving away our tools, but they did a great job. Technology really put this together. In addition, really looking at crime mapping to connect cases, and that's very important when we review crime patterns and look at perpetrators. They're not just responsible for one act, they're probably responsible for several. And also I urge the public, if there is someone out there that has any additional information, doesn't matter how small it may be, please contact Detroit Police. You can contact the 11th Precinct Detective Unit at 313-596-1140. Again, 313-596-1140.
What was Marcus Edwards able to steal? What did he end up getting from the four women specifically?
So there was miscellaneous rings, jewelry, things of that nature. I will say we have recovered some of the property involved in these cases, and he used a firearm in each of his matters.
You guys think there may be more victims out there?
Well, at this time, that's what's under review by our detectives. I think in any matter, we're looking at this pattern, and as the last couple weeks have gone by, we've seen it grow from one case, but to potentially 4. Again, 2 of those matters are still under review. He has not been formally charged on the 2 additional, but our work is not done. We're still reviewing it, and if more cases come to light, we'll be pursuing those matters as well.
Last question for me. Marcus Edwards, any sort of remorse for what he's done or anything like that?
I'm not going to comment that at this time. We'll let the judicial system play out.
Has he been cooperative at all? Is he at least talking to you guys?
In so many words, I'll say he is not cooperative. Again, I'll let that play out in the judicial system.
And he was arrested at his at the apartments, or where was he arrested?
Correct, as he was leaving the complex on the 16th.